All right, welcome back to Survivor Game Show Network. We are here with our first juror, James. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
And of course, we've got Lilly asking the questions this season.
Yes, excited. Well, I guess not super excited to have James here. Everybody loves your confessionals. You're great on, everyone's rooting for you. So sad you got out first, but exciting you made it as a juror. How are your thoughts coming out of it?
I mean, at least I made merge.
Yeah, I agree. And we see a big theme of your game is trying to fly under the radar. You talk a lot about being afraid of being perceived as a threat, and it kind of seemed like you couldn't escape it. Do you think there's anything you would have done differently in your game, or would you try to still fly under the radar?
I think I wouldn't change much because if it weren't for me taking that risk of doing rocks, I think I would have been fine. I mean, no one has been seeing me as a threat because there are bigger threats in the game. And then yeah, I think it was just more of I should have just played it safe that round. Because I already knew who Garrett was voting. So I should have just like went along with his plan, and Vinny um went home instead of me. But the bitch wanted drama. So
And
Can't
drama
blame.
the bitch got.
Yeah.
so
Yeah, whenever I was hearing confessionals from literally anyone, they were like, oh, we love James. Whenever asking about like James, oh, great guy.
And
They're
then
like,
yeah,
even a couple people that were like, yeah, James is smart, like James is good, but I don't want to get James out. And I think that
mhm.
says something about the way you played the game and connected with people that I think some people did recognize that you were good. Especially Vinny. I think Vinny in his confessional was like, James is smart, he's good at this game, but like he's still my number one. Which I mean, hat off, because a lot of people don't, you don't get far in that game with people saying that.
No, I mean, I think being the only one from overseas helped a lot in coming into this game because, I mean, I played a similar game before wherein I'm the only Filipino and I'm with a group of Americans. It was everyone loved me, so they were like very very curious, like what's it like here, and like they were very very curious to know me. And of course they won't be the asshole who votes the only non-American out, so 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 they're like very very careful around that. And I think it comes also with how I presented myself during the season. I just presented myself as someone who's carefree and very chill. So that was kind of like a part of me. Just it came with me trying to fly under the radar because I already knew that coming into the game there would be people who are gonna be big personalities. There will be people who will be commanding, or um who will be very straightforward and outspoken. So I'm like, I can't be that. So I'll just try to be someone that people would like, just so that I wouldn't I wouldn't be the first person that they see, even if like I'm the obvious odd person out just because of like nationality wise, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's really smart. I mean, you hit that sweet spot perfectly. And I think you're right. If this, how it plays out, didn't happen this go around, I think you would have made it a lot farther in the game. But we'll get to that. I do want to back up to pre-merge when
Okay.
you were with the second WOTA and Stephen and
Ah,
Meredith were at the bottom.
I hate it there. Oh my god.
I think a lot of people did. Did you
Jack back on
ever?
WOTA strong.
I know, like that tribe is like, I thought the W for what stands for win. Apparently not. Like no.
It was a trick. Did you ever consider working with Stephen and Meredith? And if you had,
Yes.
who do you think you would have flipped and tried to vote out?
Um, because me and Steven had this conversation, and I was like,
Mhm.
and I remember me thinking about it because there came a thought in my head like during that swap that of course, yeah, we have the numbers in terms of like original tribes. Like Dak obviously is the majority number of people left in the cast. But and then once we hit merge and all of the other OG voters get decimated, everyone's gonna be left with just us and like where does it go, right? So that's kinda where get it got tricky for me, and it came to the point that I was like, like who or where am I placed in that totem pole of like the original Dak people? But well, in my perception, I know that I'm not in the bottom of that totem pole, but I I just wanna like secure myself even further. And if I had to work with Meredith and Steven, I would have gotten someone like Brett out because I think that would be into like Tom's favor because I think Tom and Brett have similar personalities, and in a sense I knew that sooner or later they'll butt heads once they meet merge or once they reunite again just because of them both being like a power struggle ever since original Dak. So I kind of saw that dynamics, and I think that um yeah, I think more on I'm leaning towards Brett just because Vinny I knew was more moldable
Mm.
in terms of where like I can I can lead him in terms of that. But I mean if we sort of if the same fate happened to us like we lost both challenges during swap, I mean, and I chose that route, it would have been like me, Meredith, and Steven going to merge. And it wouldn't
Mhm.
be a bad thing, I think.
I don't
No, I
think for
don't think.
you either. Like
Mm-mm.
you have the most options to go anywhere in this game. You
I
were
know.
Mr. Swingman.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting because even you point out like most people's crux in this game is paranoia. And that
Yes.
wasn't your crux. It was the game was boring for you. 'Cause you wanted the drama, you know what I mean? And we saw
You should
throughout
have
this.
I
hit up
know.
Celestina. Celestina was like, James, I need to make a move. This is boring, but I also don't want to vote people out. So,
I mean,
Yeah.
did you see Celestina during the game? She like cried the whole season. So I'm like, how am I gonna talk her into voting someone out when she's like, I don't want to
you should
vote
have
someone
had her.
out. It's so hard. Like she's like,
You should have had her vote for you. You vote for JS, and then Vinny is also safe from the wheel. So three-way tie.
that would
That
be
would
too
have
much.
been
That'd be too much work.
Celestina, you're not gonna be voting me out, I promise. But I want to be safe from the wheel.
I
Or
know. I
you
think that was the only mistake I did. I didn't think of myself like how can I like make myself from safe from the wheel
yeah.
if I wanna go to
mhm.
the wheel, right? So I
Right.
think that was the only thing that I kind of forgot. Otherwise, I thought that that was a great plan. I thought like me causing rock draws would be a good plan because it would be me voting out someone without me actually voting them out.
Right.
So if in case they ask me later on if I ever make it to the end, I would be like, "Oh, I didn't vote you out. I voted someone else. That's not from our alliance. So you just were
The rock
unlucky."
draw.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I mean, I think Tom playing his idol also unexpected, where he would have also been on the wheel, and that's
I
one more
know.
person to like decrease your little wedge on the wheel.
Yes, I
But
know. as soon as that arrow or that wheel stopped on my name, I kind of knew. It was like, no,
Well, I
not
think in your
this.
voting confessional, you were just like, this could screw me over real bad, but
But
The
what the hell?
foreshadowing. Yeah. Well, and so I'm interested because Vinny says he's really close to you. He's,
Mhm.
or you're his number one. And watching you play your vote, you say, I know Garrett's voting for Vinny and I'm going to tie it up. Why not switch
Just
it
go
up
with
and
Vinny.
vote for Vinny? Yeah. Is it because you felt close to him or what was the thought process?
Yeah, I mean the same thing that I mentioned a while ago. I didn't want to vote someone out with me writing their name down. So it's more
Mhm.
like a jury management sort of thing, just so that when they ask me, like, if for example the next vote, if they're still there, and then I'm still there also, then they ask me like what happened, and I'd be like, oh, I voted JS because I didn't want to vote for you because like I knew that Garrett was going for you, but I didn't want to vote for you. I just forced the tie because I think that's the
yeah.
only way that I could have saved you. So something like that.
Yeah, I think
So
it's smart. Yeah.
but it's
I can
risky.
trust it.
Like I mean, look
Yeah.
how I ended up.
So let's say Garrett doesn't play his idol, right? He goes home because he had like 5 million votes on him.
Mm-hmm.
Who would you have worked with moving forward? I mean, JS might be on the chopping block next, but who are you wanting to kind of align with?
Well,
And
I guess the question is, are you on team Brett or team Tom? Because we know that Brett is like, if I could have, I would have gotten Tom out at the Garrett/you vote. He had that confessional, and you're saying
Yeah.
you saw that um those two like figureheads. So would you keep Wota strong and stay on Brett's side, or did you have more of like a Tom connection?
I think I must stick to what I said during the game that the gays need to stick together. So I think I would side with Brett just because I think Tom I think would be harder to beat at challenges. So
Mhm.
and I think that I'm pretty good at like puzzles. So if there came like puzzles in terms of I
Pretty
think
good at puzzles, mister. You carried that pre-merge in puzzles.
yeah, you
well
did both
I didn't want
tries.
to be I didn't want to be too much of a threat coming in when we have like a season of all rock drawers. So
uh,
just laying it out there that I'm just pretty good. So so so,
no, we're
so
I mean we're well on our way to rock draw season, so anybody watching, take note of all our rock draws, those are your fellow castaways.
no, but I mean it's I think Brett is easier to talk to in terms of where we wanna put
Mhm.
our like direct ourselves moving forward. And with me, Vinny, and then Brett, and then JM, and then maybe Celestina, it
Yeah.
would be a solid five already, and we would be um I think it would be more of a solid alliance. And even if like it's just us five left, I'm in a pretty good spot there.
Oh,
Like
for sure. You're
Mhm.
again the middleman of like Dak strong, and Garrett is telling JS like, oh, I have the pre-existing relationship with James. James is with us. Don't worry.
yeah, exactly.
So like
So
again, the best person positionally in
I
this.
Yeah.
know, and I was like, but anyway, yeah.
Did you get a chance to connect with Garrett? Because, like McKenna just mentioned, I've heard, you guys knew each other before the game. Do you think you could have capitalized that up more?
Well, bit of a backstory on how I know Garrett. So I've hosted Garrett on Survivor. So as ever since we became friends, we became very close. I think we didn't get a chance to talk. That's the thing. Like one on one, because I really didn't want to expose our pre-existing relationship with Dak. So I know that he mentioned it with JS, but I didn't really mention it with the people in Dakda, just so that they won't like see through me like, oh, he's with everyone. So it's like So I didn't want to be that guy. So and it was a case of like everyone's in the same room, so like we couldn't really get a a time to like pull in like Garrett from into somewhere else and then just talk. But I really did want to do that just before the tribal, just to ask him where he's at, because I already knew that he wouldn't vote for me, and he knew that I wouldn't vote for him, because we just kind of had that unspoken agreement that like once we saw each other during the marooning, we were like, yeah, like yeah, we were like, we're gonna work together. It's just a matter of when we will be together in a sense.
Yeah. Do you think if you had a chance to do that one-on-one, he would have told you about his idol? And you guys could have concocted a plan, you know?
I mean, I kind of, yeah, yeah, that's true.
You sort
and
of
we
had
could,
like a little inkling of like, I think Garrett has an idol, but if he doesn't, he needs Jesus.
yeah, he needs
So I
Jesus.
think that was my favorite confessional. When I saw that, I was like, that's gotta be in here.
Because I think there were a lot of news during pre-merge about like the idols, the changing of the names, the other stuff that has been brought up. Even Meredith conspiring that I have an idol. So so I think I have a fair idea that Garrett could have had one, but yeah, if we only have talked, I think we've made a plan on probably Brett. I think Brett would be a good first merge boot to like set the tone there. And then we would just like I would be just like the, oh, I don't know what's happening, blah blah, I'm so sleepy. I would play that card almost like immediately.
Yep.
It's a good one to play. All right, so I have this question. Lauren wanted to ask this question, so I'm bringing
I
it
hate
to
that
you.
she's not here.
I know.
Yeah, she's a loser. It's fine.
She wanted to know, who did you enjoy working with the most out of this whole cast?
Out of everyone, I've enjoyed working with Vinny and Brett the most. Just because I've been with them the longest in terms of like time wise. Celestina, I didn't get the chance to talk to. And mainly because yeah, she's been crying. And then she's been crying every before tribal. And then because I don't know, we're sort of this very big dysfunctional family wherein everyone's like all their different personalities. But yeah, I've enjoyed Vinny just because we kind of bounce off each other really well in terms of our banter and we know our references. And then Brett also because Brett is just very straightforward. I think that's what I liked about playing international orgs. It's just that American players usually are like, oh, let's do this. And they're like, sure. And then that's it. Whereas here in the Philippines, here in the Philippines, there's a lot of paranoia here. It's very intense here in the Philippines in terms of like how people play orgs. And then they like mind games here. So it's kind of different. So I'm more comfortable with playing with people from abroad because number one, they don't know me. Number two, I can play like with less paranoia in a sense. So yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I find that interesting because your favorite person or one of your favorite people you like to play with, Brett, is somebody you would have voted out pretty early on. So I guess that begs the question, who would you have been trying to bring to Final Tribal? Who would have been your perfect people to sit next to and why?
I would have brought Celestina with me. I also would have brought JM. For specific reasons that both benefit me. Well, I don't want to throw them under the bus because I love them, but I'll do it anyway.
All right, we're here. Buckle up, everyone.
No, because I think from the game's perspective or everyone's perspective, I think their perception of JM is a bit of like he's a bit manic, so he tends to like over talk. So he's like very fast talker, and it's like he tends to like be very look very panicked and stuff. So I think that would help me in terms of like being concise with how
Mhm.
I would present my speech and my game, and then I would even if like he had a great game, it would be, I think I would just deliver it in a would just deliver it better, I think. And
Mhm.
on my opinion, Celestina, I think I mean Celestina has an equal chance just because of her social game, because people like her also. And I think I could play off with that because I can um I'm in a sense more strategic. If I could have just made it far, like I know that I would have like made more moves strategically and be more of like I can play off the risk taker card and say that I've taken more risks, I've
Right.
made big moves, I risk rock draws and blah blah blah. So stuff like that. Yeah. So
Nice.
anyone really, I don't care, to be honest.
You just want
I
to
knew
get
that
there and you'll figure it
yeah,
out later.
I knew that even if whoever I am with in final tribal, I have a pretty good chance of winning, primarily because people like me. So I think that helped me a lot. So I think that would help me a lot in terms of
Right.
if I make it to final tribal.
Yeah. And I think you're exactly right. Final travel is all about delivery. And, your performance at Final Travel can change a lot of people's minds.
You know
Exactly.
firsthand.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I just have one more question at the end. McKenna, if there are Facebook questions.
Facebook. All right. First one is from JS. James, bummed we barely got to play together, and that when we did, you chose to vote for me.
Yes.
JK, no hard feelings, and thanks for the round of safety. You seemingly had
Welcome.
lots of different paths to the end of the game, possibly more than any other player. If you had your way, which path would you have taken to the end of the game and why? So, like, let's say, you know, like Vinny goes out in your spot. How would you have wanted to eliminate from then?
All right. I think I would have. Well, first of all, thank you so much, Jess, for the wonderful, wonderful question. And yes, you're welcome for the safety. I mean, that is in spot of my life in the game. So anyway, I think after if in that chance that Vinny went home, I would have taken the path of scooping in JS and Garrett, and then scooping in probably Brett with me, Brett,
Mhm.
Celestina, and then JM. Just so that I'm more hidden, because I know that once like Tom, Bill, and got are gonna be voted out, even in that situation wherein there's two vote, and then everyone else is there, like I would still be hidden, because Garrett will be a bigger threat than I am, Brett will be a bigger threat than I am, so it will be like a great spot for me. So I think that would be my best route, just so that I'm well hidden until it's like too late to kind of get rid of me. So
Mm.
yeah.
Um, Brett asks, "Why are you so awesome?" And then
Oh my
Celestina
god.
responded,
Stop it.
"Seconded, inquiring minds want to know."
I mean, I don't, even me, I'm still wondering why I'm this off. No, I'm kidding. No, I think it's just, I think it's just who I am. I mean, I'm just very, very accommodating to people. I'm just very, uh, yeah, I just like talking to people and getting to know them and trying to just spread good vibes. I mean, I'm all the way like that, and I'm very chill, as you know, and I think what people saw in the game is basically authentically me, just like someone who's like someone who likes to listen, someone who just takes his time, and someone who's very chill, and someone who cracks jokes here and there. So yeah, that's basically me. Well, they didn't saw my confessionals. Just I mean, before the episodes aired, because that's a totally different side of me. Because that I think that's more of like the entertainer in me, because
Yeah.
I knew that it was gonna be on the episode, so I was like, I gotta show up. So
Mm.
so
And that you
it's
did.
I don't know.
Yes.
I mean, so yeah, I think it's just how how I like to present myself to people, and yeah, I mean, everyone's awesome in the cast, to be honest. Even if like I didn't meet McKenna's mom, I thought she was awesome. So
Think,
um,
would you bigger question, would you have voted out my mom?
I well, I didn't know at the time that she was your mom, so I wouldn't care any less. So but I think I would have used her in terms of like I would have been like playing the mommy baby card, like.
Yeah,
So
because watch it, because that's what the curse was for Woda. Just like once they voted out my mom, it was just like all but the crying for Woda. All right,
I
Celestina
know,
then
like it was
has
just the worst, like yeah.
Celestina then has a question. James, such a phenomenal player and confessional giver. That unsharpened pencil confessional gave me life.
It's
Sad
still
your
Lord
game was
Sarpent, by
cut
the way.
sad your game was cut short. But what do you think was your biggest strategic move in the game and why?
Ah. I think my biggest strategic move coming into that whole game was more on how I aligned myself with Dakda strategically,
Mhm.
because even if it's not like a big move, it was something that kind of set me up for the whole game, for
Right.
my whole game, like um and like me siding with Tom, Brett, and Vinny, I already knew that they would be connecting to the people who I didn't really talk to.
Right.
Hence, them feeling good about me without me even like starting a conversation.
Mhm.
So so I think that helped me a lot. And I would say that also like the rock draw was a great strategic move.
Hey, if it worked out,
It
one
would
of the
have
Yeah,
been the
best.
best move.
Yeah.
Yes.
it would have. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it still was, I think, even if I went out, because it caused so much chaos after. Like, tune in, guys. Tune in when that, because it will be like like they all went crazy after it went out. So
Because it's like,
it
who voted? Who voted
I know.
JS?
And then the person who just was snoring and ponderosa, like chilling, having a great time.
Like JS couldn't have voted for JS.
I know, but yeah, I think that's the best strategic moves that I did.
Speaking of the Jays, JM now has a question. James, you were the best. You were the best in watching your confessionals back. Even more so. Love you, dude. But karma bit you in the ass. Why didn't you
Mm-hmm.
band together all of us gays? We could have made Final Five.
Mm-hmm. I know. I mean, I think it was part of the plan. That's why I didn't want to get rid of Vinny, because that was the plan, to be honest. I wanted someone, like it were. Yeah, I mean, Tom played his idol, so I was bummed at that, because I really wanted to get rid of Tom,
Mhm.
or like someone who has like a big personality that's not
Yeah.
part of the Gays Alliance. Um, so I think from the get go, when Top plays this idol, it was a case of like, okay, let's
Yeah.
just try to survive this and see where it goes.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think more than anything, I didn't think karma bit me in the ass, because I didn't really do anything wrong. It's just that
Right.
I think it was just a case of me being unlucky
Yeah.
in the wheel.
Yeah.
So I think
And
that was
then
it.
they also have a second question of, did you ever think of saying, hey guys, I know Garrett, let's use him for a move?
I would have used that angle later on. Because during the first round I didn't really want to say it because I wouldn't be, like I said a while ago, I wouldn't be someone who they would realize that who's in the middle. So I would say that later on, just so that they would be more assured of me that, oh, he's gonna work with me because he's laying out these cards and
Right.
he's been saying this and that. And yeah, I think that would be a good move for me as well. But I think I wouldn't keep Garrett further just because I know him. So it's gonna be like a thorn on my side. So I have to get rid of eventually. But I mean, I know Garrett wouldn't mind, and I think in his head he would think the same thing. Like, oh, James is gonna get very far. I have to get rid of him sooner or later.
Yeah. Well, Bill has a novel for us.
Okay.
James, you were great to play with and hysterical to watch. If there's a Best Confessional award you win, while you still weren't picking up votes before you got wheeled out, do you think you overplayed your I don't want people to think I'm very good at the game strategy? I think we all knew that wasn't the case and you were a threat.
Mm-hmm. I think even so, if I don't think I overplayed it though. I mean, because even if I was a threat, I mean they still didn't want to get me out. So I think that played out well. So if that's any indication if I played it well or not, I think me being still there and me regardless of being a threat not receiving much votes except for that tribal with Meredith. I think I've been playing a great game. I think the only time that I think I overplayed it was that tribal. That I wish that I. That's the only regret I have, to be honest. Like I wish I could have played it safe, but hey, I mean you can't reverse turn back time, right? So and but yeah, I know that I'm a threat. That's why I've been trying to like play it on the to a, like trying to play it to a 2. So and just trying to get into my wacky funny side just so that it gets smoke screened.
Mm-hmm.
And also play that like I'm so sleepy card, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He finishes up his paragraph with and where the hell were the roosters? Did they drive you nuts when you're not pulling all-nighters? Thank you for making our Survivor experience complete by having chickens in the camp.
I know. I mean, the chickens here are in the backyard. Because here in the Philippines, chickens are a popular pet, outdoor pet. So because there's even if it's like a residential space, we have like people who like chickens. So so yeah, I mean it's a tradition here in the Philippines. And even so, yeah, it's not really a crazy thing if you get used to it because they're sort of your natural alarm clocks. But when you're pulling all-nighters, yeah, it could get a bit irritating. Sometimes like you just wanna like get a pellet gun and then like shoot them down. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Then there's breakfast. It's fine.
Yes, exactly. And then we have fried chicken after. Everyone's happy. So
the last question here is from Garrett. James, my dude, so sad you're gone. My questions all have been taken, but were you as bummed as I was that we didn't swap together?
yes, I was so bummed because had we swapped together, it would have been a very very tight duo. But I think it would have been to my detriment also because the other people from Back would have seen right through it that, oh, why are they so close all of a sudden? They didn't even like talk.
Right.
And I'm not straight as Garrett, so so it wouldn't like really make sense because Garrett's like very like my bro, my dude, like he's just very that, and I'm like very like
Trust me, I know.
so so it wouldn't it won't make sense at face value, right?
Mhm.
So unless we have this sort of other stuff going on, so I think people would catch up to that, and I think it would be to my detriment as well. That people would think that, oh, he has other connections we don't know, so what
Mhm.
else should is he hiding?
Though maybe
Um,
I guess to your credit though, he seemed at least still from like episodes 1 and 2 where JS isn't the like most dude bro-y kind of
mm-hmm.
archetype either. So like I think people probably might have seen them as a pair, and so like if
Mhm.
you started talking to Garrett, I don't think it would have been like as,
Obvious, yeah.
but the connection of like, oh, we're doing this, okay, like that might be a little like,
I know, like it would be sus. It would be really, really
yeah,
sus to the dark people. But hey, I mean, like I really wish though that we would have swapped together just so that we have like a footing on where we want to go in the game.
yeah,
But
it'd be a
I
whole
mean,
different game here.
I
Yeah, it
know,
would.
but you can't have anything you want, so so I
Nothing,
guess we'll leave
nothing
it
at
at
all.
that. But I'm just really, really, I mean, overall, I just really, really enjoyed the experience that I got to meet a lot of great people, that I otherwise wouldn't have met. And yeah, I mean, it kind of taught me like to play it safe. Sometimes the best way is the safe route. Because I am such a risk taker,
Mm.
especially here in the Philippine org community, I'm known for being someone who likes to take risks. And so yeah, I think the lesson on my end here is the best plan sometimes is the safe plan. So maybe learn from my mistake, guys. So anyone who's watching this that wants to play this game, maybe stick to the vote.
Stick to the plan.
Yeah.
I,
So
well,
that
I,
leads me.
mhm.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. I just have to add.
No, you're fine.
And another scenario that would have been great is if the votes would have been split.
Mhm.
I don't understand also why no one has come up with it. It
Well,
was
they were
just
they were saying in the comments like Jay and Brett were going like, "Ooh, we were dumb. We didn't split the votes."
I know it was like, and I was like, why didn't anyone split the votes when
I
everyone
think they
knew
were
that it was
worried
gonna be
about the
Garrett?
rocks. Like they're worried
Yeah.
about splitting the votes with potential rocks.
Yeah, I
Like
know, but
it scares
it makes.
people to split votes when it's like automatic rocks. I don't know.
And then
Mhm.
here's James like, let's go to rocks.
Yeah.
A big what if.
Mhm.
Yes, a
But
very big one.
yeah, to round out tonight, James, how would you sum up your game in one word and why?
Um, in one, wow, that's a big ask.
It's a
But yeah, I'll
it
try.
is, yeah.
I'll try. But I think it has been my game overall has been very unfinished in my opinion.
Mm.
Yeah, I think that's the word. It's very
Mm.
unfinished to the point that I know that I would have made it very, very far, but I think that will give me a a big shot in terms of like redeeming myself if there came a time that I would play again. And I think, well, number one, I wouldn't play the sleepy card because people already knew that I was just like that was just for show. So well, and but I think yeah, it's more of unfinished because I didn't play to my full potential, and people
Mm.
really didn't, and you guys and the other people didn't get to see um the full potential
We
of
saw the
what I can.
sprinklings.
Yes, it was just a salt bay of just my game. So so it was just like a yeah, it was just a glimpse, but I'm very very like, I have a lot of things up my sleeve as well. So
Ooh.
it's it's more of like it's more of like me showing that maybe in another season we don't know, but
Well, I
Never
hope
know,
just have
so.
to
you never
say.
know what's with SGSN.
I know.
Yeah,
We're working
it
toward
was.
that rock draw season.
That is true. It was great to watch you, James, and I hope we
Thank
do
you.
get to see you in the future because I think you speak a lot of what people are thinking as they watch it, which is incredible to see in a player as you're in the game. So I think only great things in your future for
Yes.
Oh,
Orc.
thank you so much. I mean, yeah, it's been great. It's been great playing this game. I mean, I had fun with you guys as hosts as well. The fact that you guys allowed me to just be myself and say whatever, and
Oh, of course. We
yeah.
encourage it.
And I
Well,
think players should be more like that. I
Yeah,
mean, they shouldn't be scared of like expressing themselves like without like and without the fear of being hated post game. Because that it and in reality, even if this is a social experiment, this is a game. So
yeah.
treat it as a game. I think that's what some people forget. They take it
yeah.
too seriously.
Thank you, James, for joining us. You are our first juror, so we will see you the rest of this season. What's going on with you and the Zumbiver world? If
Oh yeah,
give us a little plug here.
I'm very excited. So yeah, I've been very busy with Zoomvivers. For people who are watching that doesn't know, Zoomviver is my org. It's an international game based on Zoom, hence the name. It's a 2-day mini, and we are premiering our 6th season called Mind versus Heart versus Gut. Later this year, so it's probably coming this December. We have a great cast. We have a great game or season that's lined up for you. So, if yeah, I mean, if you want this three tribe setup, we're in play styles clash, and a lot of personalities will clash, and I think a lot of people like me will be there, I think, who are not afraid to say what they want.
All right, let's
Um,
go.
and yeah, it should make for great TV, and it should make for a great season. So I'm very, very excited, and I know the players are excited too. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I can't. Yeah, I just hope you guys watch it. But if you want to check out our previous seasons and the stuff that's been going on with Survivor, you can check out our Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. It's all Zoomvivor. You can just check it out, subscribe, like, comment, and follow. Whatever button is there on that social media platform. You just do it. So yeah, I think that's what's been going on with me.
Speaking of
With
social
like
media, SGSN also has social media. So like you should
yes.
follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Survivor GSN, or Survivor Game Show Network. Also, be sure to tune in to our recap and other exit interviews. It's gonna be a great time.
Yeah,
Thank you
I'm
for
gonna
watching.
I'm gonna wait for that recap on what whoever guest will be there and what they'll
Alex
say
will be
about that.
back. So
I think Alex will have a lot to say.
thank you, James. Thank you as always, Lily. Have a good night.
Of course.